I used to listen to good podcasts and everything was fine, but now I listen to this podcast because I've lost my mind. My gym partner is a podcast. My gym partner is a podcast. Yeah!
Bull shark, porcupine, I don't know what. Doing this podcast's a pain in the...
Resident Evil.
I think we have very conflicting openings there.
You know, that was like part of it. That was like the noise that happens before, you know, they say the words.
When you start the game. Wow, very topical.
When you start the game. That's right.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. I got Resident Evil 2 on the mind. I've just been playing the heck out of that game.
Wow, are you some sort of gamer?
Like, what if a licker was, like, enrolled into Charles Darwin Middle School? And, like, there's an episode where they're just like, Adam, you have to be quiet! You have to be quiet, Adam, or it's gonna get you!
The idea of, like, putting these characters in actually, like, terrifying situations and, like, seeing how they cope.
I mean,
that's kind of what the show is, huh?
I mean, Lioness Kennedy, am I right?
Oh, God, okay. Moving
All right.
on.
Well, you know who else is a gamer? Adam Lion. And
Yeah.
We're gonna go over that. Not in this first episode though. That's in the second
have
part. That's
some episodes to talk about. The first episode we're going to be talking about is Bubble or Nothing, which I had zero memory of going in.
like
Yeah.
I was looking at it before we did the podcast. And, like I looked at it about like 3 times, and I still forgot what the episode was.
It's a classic, just throwaway episode. It's a classic, tale of, Bubble Boy, you know?
Yeah,
like,
it's
we
just
always...
like we gotta look at the American cartoon tropes bucket. What do we got here? Bubble Boy reference. All right, that'll do.
That's a weird thing that is kind of like a trope, right? It's kind of strange that that specific thing is something that, like, cartoons and just media keeps coming back to.
Oh yeah, that and like the shrinking yourselves down to enter inside another person's body to heal their illness from within.
I
Yeah,
can't wait.
classic.
I can't wait for the episode of My Gym Partner's a Monkey where they shrink down and go inside Jake Spider Monkey to cure his butt falling off disease.
Like, I don't think that's an episode, but I would believe that it would be.
It might as well. I mean, like, it'll probably... something like it might happen. Anyway, I think we should talk about the episodes.
Right.
So
Let's start with Bubble or Nothing. And how does this so memorable, so meaningful episode start?
You know, I wish I knew.
I really like how this episode starts. So it's these 3 lion characters, these 3 lion bullies, bullying Adam Lion, and this weirds me out about it. I guess they did this as a joke, but like they're kind of
quote unquote joke.
I'm not quite sure what they were going for. I guess they're supposed to be like kind of like a Guido sort of like thing, right?
But they're lions.
But they're lions.
That doesn't make any sense. There aren't any Italian lions. But anyway, so the lions are like speaking gibberish, but they're not speaking gibberish. You can really plainly tell what they're saying, but like they're saying their words ever so slightly mumbled and like weird that they just put subtitles in there just for a joke.
It's really weird. Also, I need to talk about how these lions look like they came from Kingdom Hearts, because I can't handle it. Hey
y'all, one of the lions has a hat that says "cuss" on it.
No, it says "cub."
Well, it should say "cuss." That would be funnier.
What, with one S?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just cuss.
Cause
So these lion kids, they're just tormenting poor Adam Lion, saying, making a lot of lion puns like, "Hey lion, we'd be lying if we said we didn't like you. Wait, we are lying, so we don't." And they keep like kicking him around like a softball.
He's just like an object of play for these islands. They just
for
Lions.
what?
wait. What'd I say?
You said
Islands?
islands.
No,
It's-
I
it's
said
a-
lion.
No, you said islands.
It's a little late in the
Hey,
day.
Hey,
Lucy.
stop trying to make me look like an idiot.
Hey, Lucy, future Lucy, play that clip of Gert saying islands again.
For these islands, I did.
See, you said it.
Well, maybe I just thought about the word island because
Because you
I
can't
thought of-
wait for the My Gym Partner's a Monkey Island.
spin-off. Well, no, it's actually because I saw Jake Spider Monkey in after Adam fell into the water when the lions were done, and he looks like he's on it. You know what? Fuck it. I was trying to defend myself here, but whatever.
It's
Here-
fine.
It's so funny
literally-
because so Adam like gets thrown into the water by these lions, and he just starts like screaming and like pounding his fist in the water, like, "I hate this school! I hate being here! I'm so miserable every day with this shit!" Like really, really upset.
Like,
Finally
like,
letting
it's
all of it come out.
Well, I mean, like there's been a couple other Adam Lion rants, but this is the most like emotional, where he's just hyperventilating. He's just like shrieking, "I'm sick of it! Sick of it! Sick of it!" And
Well,
like,
it's like you can tell that he's not choosing his words. He's just like saying whatever word comes out of his mouth because he's like infuriated with the situation just of him being here. he's
it's tragic, and like I'm really glad we opened with this because it answers a lot of questions. Like, Adam is designated as a lion, but he's very obviously human. So how is he treated by, say, other lions? And this is how they treat him like shit, and they treat him like a chew toy, basically.
Who doesn't treat
And I-
Adam Lion like shit?
Yeah, but like I think these guys it's especially painful here because it's Adam Lion, not by choice, has to associate with these guys kind of because that's the role he's been given in this school.
Right.
But also he cannot possibly identify with being a lion or any such predator animal because he's just so small and weak.
Yeah, they like
and-
make fun of him. They're
Oh.
like, "Where's your main lion? Like, you have peach fuzz instead, or something like that." It's like,
Ah.
give him a break. But as Adam's ranting, Jake kind of like floats in on a little like pool floaty thing. One of those, like, what do they call them? Do they have a specific name?
Like just like a floaty.
No, but it's
Is
like
it
a
just
it's like a
float?
bed. It's like a flat. I don't know if that has.
Yeah,
a
it's
specific...
like one of those like pool like recliner things or whatever.
Yeah.
That, like he's flowing down like the river flow. He looks like a middle-aged man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's-
doesn't look very young.
He's got, because he's wearing, all he's wearing is a Speedo and some sunglasses, and his hair, his head, he's got like little hairs poking out the top of it, so he looks like even though he's covered in fur, he looks like he's like balding. He's got like, I don't know, he's holding like a coconut drink. He looks so too relaxed for the situation that he's in right now, which is at school. Why is he like this?
Why is he just leisurely floating down the river in school? Shouldn't he be in class? Shouldn't he be getting ready for class? I guess that none of this matters.
It's in between periods probably, or is it lunch break? Whatever.
Could be lunch break. It could just be the time in between class where we get to see Adam Lion get picked on.
but as he's just shrieking and talking about how he's sick of it, he gets an idea. He's like, "Wait a minute." And he, well, like, Jake's like, "Oh, you should really see the nurse. You're kind of tense." And he gets an idea, and so he goes to Nurse Gazelle, which I mentioned earlier. She gets a bit more of a prominent role in this episode. It's nice to see.
Yeah, there's a funny bit here where like Adam's trying to like fake an illness, I guess, so that he can go like I don't know, get transferred out of the school or something. He's like I'm sick. I have allergies and I need to go home. Like
and Nurse Gazelle just has like a cure-all for everything.
Like she pulls out all these syringes. She sticks a syringe out of her mouth on her tongue.
yeah, like unfurls.
And I was like, I'm allergic to everything. I'm allergic to all quadrupeds and reptiles and just everything. And it's just like, well, all right. I don't know what to do. I guess I'll like let you transfer from this school because you can't be here. But Principal Pixie Frog bursts in at the sound of Adam Lying daring to leave.
The idea, just like he sensed it. The idea of Adam Lyne leaving just like summoned him.
And he's like, "No, we can't let Adam Lyon leave. We'll lose all our funding."
Why?
What?
And it's like,
What?
how does that work? Is that the reason why Adam is stuck here in this school?
And
It's
like,
because Principal Pixie Frog is afraid that like his school won't meet like some sort of human affirmative action quota.
do you think the schools are not even recognized as a school unless there's a human going there?
Maybe we don't know this. We don't know
that
the.
just might be it.
We
Like,
don't know the what social class animals fall under in the overall world. Can they do they have the same, equal rights that everybody else does?
Oh my god, maybe that's it. Maybe I just unlocked the code. The reason Adam Lyon's there is so like the school can get like government funding like any other school. If Adam Lyon wasn't there, they'd have to pay for everything out of pocket.
God,
jeez.
this is a fucked up world.
That's so really it really makes it a lot deeper than it really is, huh?
God.
Oh, but it is this deep. The writers put it there for us to
We swear.
uncover.
So Principal Pixie Frog not daring to let Adam go and ruin everything for everybody. He just decides the alternative solution and just, like the title of the episode, puts him in a bubble. He's a bubble boy.
Hyperallergenic bubble.
A safe little place for Adam Lyon to live.
But who should come by than his own personal devil? Jake floats by again and he's like, "Cool bubble, Adam." Like really impressed by it, and he calls everybody over to like look at it.
Like he says something like really like biting and like backhanded, where he's like, "Oh wow, that bubble really sets you apart." And Adam's like, "Isn't me being the only human in this school setting me apart?" And Jake's just, well, yeah, but like, this is the only positive thing that sets you apart now.
God.
Jeez.
God, like
He just doesn't get it.
every chance he gets, he's just going to tear into his self-esteem.
So he can be closer.
So Adam and Jake can be better friends. He's doing this because they're friends.
Jake like calls everyone over and he's like, "Look at the bubble," and everyone runs by and they're all like, "Wow, what a cool bubble! Wow!" And like, I think it's Ingrid or Lupe says like, "Let's hang out with Adam now." Like, were they not
Like-
before?
Yeah, it's like I had to shout at that. It's like, aren't they already friends? Like this really shows that their friendship, quote unquote, it just hangs by a thread of just it's just Adam associating with Jake so that the crew can like tolerate him basically. Because if Jake didn't take an interest in Adam, this friend group wouldn't exist.
It's just kind of like it also sort of shows a little bit more of characters like Lupe and Ingrid just being there to say a thing. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
just
like we said before, like very early on, they're just a lot of the time like these like Ingrid, Lupe, even Slips. Like Slips is one of these characters, honestly, but like he's more a joke character. But they're all there just to relay a thought that of the situation that Adam is in.
oh, Adam is cool now. We need somebody to say Adam's cool. They want to hang out with him. That's their purpose in this episode.
It
But
sucks.
like I like how you would think like, oh, this is gonna lead to Adam being really popular all of a sudden, and it gets to his head, and then you know, yada yada. But it doesn't. Adam's still suffering because they just treat him like a oversized soccer ball.
It's really not any different than the beginning of the episode.
Like we see a lot of scenes of like them using him as like a like just like in gym they're kicking him around and then they take him to like the football field and they start kicking him around and Ingrid and Slips are like ooh a big ball and they just kick him back and forth and the crowd's cheering and like carrying him around. Jake comes out with a megaphone though and he's like, all right, pass me the ball. I want to take a hit.
But like, you know, they're ignoring him, and I like he keeps asking on the megaphone, and then he asks, "Please pass the ball."
Like, it's the only way that he knows to like respond to people not responding to him.
He's so used to
He,
being the center of attention.
And he just yells. He's so angry. That everyone's spending time with Adam. He's like, Adam is my friend, and you all should just get your own bubbles. And they do. That that leads into the episode. The point of the episode, I guess. It's I you know, thinking about it right now, you expect this to be a sort of episode that's like a popularity sort of deal, and it kind of is, but it really isn't at all. And it's more so like one of the situation panic episodes, like the weight gain episode. I'm sorry to say, it
God, don't
it
remind me.
God.
but it has that sort of skeleton as well of like, because all the kids decide to rush to Nurse Gazelle's office and she's just so exasperated, and it seems like it's trying to do a commentary on like allergies or something, like how they were trying to do a commentary before on like the school lunch menu, but it's
Mhm.
also like not much attention is given to that either. So it's the point of this episode is just really muddied. I'm seeing now.
You would think that it would go in a certain way, like you were saying. Like, I almost thought I was gonna predict the episode, but it just kept throwing me for a loop. So all these kids are rushing Nurse Gazelle, and they're like, "Okay, we want bubbles too." And she's like holding the door back, and Principal Pixie Frog's in the room, and he's getting like I guess a checkup or something. And
Uh,
he's sitting on the table on the examination table and he's like reading a newspaper and he's like shirtless or something. We need to talk about this.
we gotta talk about that.
It's really the only notable thing about this episode. It's the only thing there is to talk about.
Those slide dogs.
let me try and explain this delicately. So we see Principal Pixie Frog. He's sitting on the examination table. He was holding a newspaper before. He throws it away. we get a close up on him, and he's got, defined pecs, and along those like outlines are little like stitch like lines. I'm not sure what they were going for. It may be that he had a hairy chest, but the way it looks very much like a depiction of somebody who had top surgery.
So
Yeah, like, they drew him with a hairy chest before in like the Grub Drive episode, and that was very clear. But here, the only hairs are along his where his pectorals would be, and it just looks like stitching. And it's not just us, right? Look at it. I'm putting the image on the screen right now. Look at it. And you try and deny that this isn't top surgery scarring.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've talked about the the LGBT representation in this show, and little did we know.
Pixie Frog's trans. He's a trans guy, and that's just all there is to it.
Yeah, thank you, my gym partner, the monkey. This is incredible. Anyway, we just had to mention it because it made me like. I had to pause the episode. I was like, what was that? Let me go look at that again.
And I noticed it too. Like I didn't want to say anything for a second, but then Lucy noticed it as well. And it's just like, yeah, right? Huh?
Like, we just all had to acknowledge it. We just all had to accept, like, what we were seeing. And realize that the people who made my gym partners a monkey knew what they were doing.
Slide dog.
We've been
Don't
so
try
mean to
and act
them.
like you didn't know.
I just like to imagine a Principal Pixie Frog trying to give, a word of support to, like, the students that are maybe going through a hard time.
It always gets better. It may seem like you have no hope. You're in the situation you're in. You'll never be able to achieve what you want in life, become the person you truly are. But I'm a living example that you can, and you just gotta hang in there. Principal Pixie Frog, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh wait.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Everyone's got bubbles. What is there to say?
Yeah, everyone's got bubbles now, and this is where the episode gets so boring. I hate it. It's just boring. They just are like bragging about their bubbles to each other.
That's basically, they're all bragging about their bubbles, and then
I like this little gag where Coach Gill is rolled by Horace, and she's like, "Well, I lived in a bubble my whole life. I lived in a bubble before it was cool." And it just zooms in on her sad face.
And,
I need a Coach Gill episode right this second.
God, I love Coach Gill.
There is a Coach Gill centric episode. I think in the next season or in some season there's an episode that's centered around her, and I can't wait for that.
So, Jake though is the only one who doesn't have a bubble, and he gets run over by like these three girls who are sharing a bubble together, and he like gets flattened like a pancake, and he slowly reaches over to like a board that says like days since last school injury, and it has like a 2 on it, and he like rubs it out, and he grabs the little chalk and shakily draws like a 0.
He draws a 0, but then he pauses and draws a frowny face and drags the mouth line over the wall because he's just so damaged.
It's just, I can't believe that, like, only 2 days had passed since the school injury. It's
sad.
just, there's just a board.
The school's funding hangs by a thread, of course. This happens all the time. But Adam is mortified. He's absolutely stricken with regret that, oh no, my bestest friend in the whole world nearly got massacred. and Jake's having a moment where this this is a really good face he does here. It's just a wrinkly, sort of just rumpled face where he's doing that one gag where he's like, Adam, I need something. And I was like, what do you need? Anything,
Come-
buddy.
Come on, buddy. What you can tell me?
I need a bubble.
And he's like, Jake, what the fuck? He's like, I'm dying of embarrassment because I'm the only one without a bubble.
Womp womp.
Well, but they
They really could have taken this episode any other direction other than everybody has a bubble.
and it to keep this going because really nothing happens. Adam convinces the nurse to give Jake. Well, she's run out of bubbles, so she's like, I got a solution, and she stuffs Jake and Adam into a bubble together, and they start fighting because they're both trying to get to their separate classes, but they're like in opposite directions. It's stupid. They start arguing. It like implies that they argue all night until they just fall asleep in the middle of the school.
And then they do disgusting, unspeakable things in the bubble to each other.
God.
But I wanna mention I have a theory about that. I thought did Jake intend for this, for them to both be in the bubble? Like, of course it backfired, but like, do you think he tried to manipulate Adam so that they could both be in the bubble together?
Why? Why would he want that?
Yeah,
Because-
why would he want that? Because they're friends?
Because they're friends, and he needs to keep a close claw on Adam. He can't be too high on the social hierarchy.
Jake like drinks a soda, burps in Adam's face.
Wakes him up.
Then he eats a burrito, and then he farts in Adam's face.
And then Adam sneezes just like so much snot
This is
onto
so
Jake.
disgusting. I don't know, like, I don't even know what causes this. It's not even like talked about that much. It's just like it just happens all of a sudden. Adam just keeps sneezing on Jake, and these like gross fluvial fluids just keep spurting from Adam's nose and
It
like
looks like
covering Jake in yellowy turgid snot.
It looks like he's pissing out of his nose. There's so much.
Yeah, it's like liquid snot. It looks like cheese whiz coming out of his nose. It's terrible.
And like, I guess that's what it was all for, right? That's this episode. We went through it, and the payoff was that. Yay!
I guess they wanted like a pandemic, like a illness pandemic episode, but they were like, wait, that wouldn't make sense. Why would what kind of virus, or like why would Adam be allergic to anybody or what? So they just did this, and it's just okay. It's not very cohesive.
It's not very cohesive.
Oh wow!
funny. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Adam's like, I think I'm allergic to you, Jake. And they go to
That
the
must be it.
and they go to the nurse, and he admits to lying about the other stuff, and Principal Pixie Frog says something about a lawsuit. I don't remember. He's like, oh, if you're allergic, we gotta put you with the other people who aren't allergic to bubbles or whatever, and he throws him to the group of lions we saw at the beginning of the episode, who
I don't know
hate.
why he just like so the Principal Pixie Frog is just like panicking about this. He's also like in one of those like arm like blood pressure pumps, and like it's a gag where Nurse Gazelle keeps like pumping it, and then he gets like ricocheted around the room. But like it just goes from that, and then it cuts to Adam falling into like the lions like curled up in like the stalking class, and it's like, okay, what happened here? But like, course they're like, "Oh, hey, True Toy," and they chase after him.
The ending of this almost feels biblical.
How so?
It's just like at the end, Adam learns a lesson or something, and then he gets thrown to the lions. It's mostly the thrown to the lions part.
Yeah, that's it. Because what lesson did he learn? What did we learn?
Not
I
to
just
Because-
lie.
wanted to wanted to compare the good book to, because you gotta tie that in there.
We'll tie the good book in.
Like, we gotta talk about
we're-
the Bible.
Uh-huh.
In the Binding of Adam, we'll talk. No, wait. Adam is a biblical name. Adam and Eve. Right. God. Why did I connect?
Didn't y'all do a whole bonus episode about this?
Yeah. Look.
At the end of the episode, Adam runs away from the lions, and Jake is still in a bubble, and he's like, "Let me in!" He gets let in, and Lupe rolls by, and she's like, "You guys are still in a bubble? That's so yesterday." And my
Then the
favorite
hated
fucking
one.
character, oh, he's so funny. Oh, Gert, he's so funny.
Yeah, my favorite thing about him is just whenever he shows up on screen, I get really fucking happy. I get so happy when I see Henry Armadillo. Oh god, he's so fucking cool. I'm so glad. They should just make him one of the friends at the table. I am like straining my muscles right now. I'm so angry just thinking about it. I didn't even mean for this to happen.
He comes by in like a little canoe, and he's like, "Yeah, it's canoes are in now," and it's like wah wah, and then Iris is out. And that's that episode, I guess.
God, we talked about that episode for too long. I'm ready to move on from it.
Me too.
But what did we learn? What
Nothing.
did
None of it mattered. It was so boring. That episode gets a monkey nut.
It gets a D minus.
Gets a single corn chip. That's what I'm giving it.
That's pretty generous.
I guess so.
Yeah, this episode wasn't terrible. We were on a good path where like I felt like I was getting comfortable with the episodes at least, and I was enjoying watching them. This one sucked. It wasn't even like offensive to my senses. It was just boring.
Like, if it were
That's the
offensive to
worst.
our senses, at least we'd have something to talk about.
Well, it was still kind of offensive to our senses.
That one part
It's
was.
nothing in there, but it's also tragically mediocre, and that's why like I completely forgot about this episode and couldn't for the life of me remember it, even though I looked at it about 3 times. It's just that painfully nothing.
I guess at the core of the show, these episodes are kind of what like define it in a way. It's almost like a building block of the reason that this podcast exists. It's the strange mediocrity of it.
Well
Really
said.
is.
Well said.
Moving on.
Yeah, so before we really dig into the meat of this episode, I wanted to ask y'all a question. Would you invite Jake Spider Monkey into your home willingly?
No,
No.
never.
Next question.
Well, what if you didn't have a choice in the matter?
Well, then I don't have a choice
Then
in the
why
matter.
ask the
I guess
question?
I'll suffer.
Well, I asked the question because I want to know how you're going to feel about him being there.
Bad. Scared? I would
What would you offer him?
like to eat.
Yeah, like, well,
Oh,
I guess
jeez.
to eat, fun.
I guess I would like.
What would
I
you-
would like make a pizza or something. I always make pizza for
I'll-
my friends.
Get like a nice tombstone
Yeah,
going,
get
or
like a little.
you know what? Might even get it fancier, like a
Ooh, a
DiGiorno's.
DiGiorno. No, you know what I would do?
Only the best.
You know what I would do? I would take him to the local Kroger Tom Thumb Albertsons, Publix, and I'll
Sunfresh and or any other local, semi-local, uh, grocery
yeah,
store.
and we would like walk through, and I'd say, okay, Jake, you get to pick like one thing, and I'll get us some drinks and like a pizza, but you can pick something else, and I'll pay for it. It's no worries. And then he would come back, and he would be like, he would be holding like a full size fish from like the deli counter. You're like, no, Jake, you can't have that.
You know, the idea of
A
bringing
halibut.
the idea of bringing Jake Spider Monkey into a grocery store fills me with anxiety. It fills me with so much anxiety, like just the idea of him being around other people and you having to like keep a watch on
Oh
him.
God.
It would be a nightmare. But like leaving him at home is no good either, because like where are you gonna find when you get back? Probably a big poopy.
He's probably gonna like ruin everything.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna rip like my couches to shreds. He's gonna like go, ooh, what's this thing do? And then like break my Nintendo Switch. That'll make me so
God.
sad.
Jake Spider Monkey being like, hey, these controllers came off. I think it's broken, and then like you have to explain to him that that's like the point of the system. But then like he somehow manages to like fuck that up. He like takes them off
He
wrong.
takes them off and he starts eating them.
Like, no, he like tries to take the Switch controllers off of the Switch, but he just breaks it in half over his knee.
God.
What knees?
Let's
That all in mind.
let's talk about
Should we get into the episode?
Yeah, that all in mind. Adam Lyon didn't have a choice.
we're gonna be talking about the episode Up All Night. I think this episode's really fun because it's an episode that doesn't take place at the school, so it's a nice little look into, I guess, the home life of Adam and what these characters are like outside of a school setting, which is always fun.
Yeah.
I just like these characters actually hanging out as like friends, you know, like they're fed to us as they tell us they're friends, but they don't hang out all that much. But here they are actually, like, you know, being bros, and we get to get a chance to gaze into the personalities of each of the bros of the My Gym Partners a Monkey squad.
Because that's what this is all about. It's the bros night. It's bros night out at Adam Lyons. Oh, how much fun could a party be?
But we start out though. We start out. Adam Lyons just taking out the trash. He gets shot by
With the
paintball.
head.
He gets shot and the series is over. Thank God.
Thank God.
But he gets-
You may be dead, but at least you don't have to suffer anymore.
And who shot him? He's like, I see you, kid, with that paintball gun, and across the
brat.
yeah, and out from the fence pops Carrie, or should I say Carrie?
Yeah, you gotta say it like that because Jesus.
And Carrie's like, "Oh, this is my way of inviting you to the paintball party."
And Adam shouldn't be like. I mean, I wouldn't be cool with that. I'd be like, why don't you just ask?
But
This is a nice shirt.
Also, that's a paintball gun directly to like an unprotected torso. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta knock the wind out of you.
he's got a have a bruise there. But he's, of course, just ecstatic that she invited him somewhere. Which she's like on the other side of the fence as him, and I wonder if she was just like walking down the street and she just hid behind the neighbor's fence, or is she his next door neighbor?
It's, like if she were his next door neighbor, like you think that they would see more of each other, or like the relationship might be like a little stronger as friends.
Well, maybe that's why she's always asking him out to stuff.
Maybe so, just because like they're in the same area. I mean, they're definitely in like the same neighborhood.
For sure. the paint splotch on Adam's shirt like morphs into a heart. It's really creepy. He's like, as she's like walking away, he's like, "Duh, girl."
That's just how powerful Adam Lyon's love is for this character
Yeah.
that doesn't really reciprocate that love at
I
all.
think Carrie's really nice to him, but she's just like kind of like in a friend way.
But yeah, like, maybe I guess Adam doesn't really know what like being a good friend is, because he deals with pretty much every other friend he has seems to just kind of like manipulate him or just get mad at him, and he doesn't really have like that normal sort of like friend dynamic except for her.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's why he's gotten so attached.
When you're a dumb middle school kid, and you're taught all these stuff, toxic masculinity at a young age, this is what you're left with.
We
Adam Lyon is a representation of the effects of toxic masculinity on a child.
In this video,
So Adam is in school now, and he's like daydreaming in class about the paintball. He like envisions himself as a like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like Rambo kind of guy. He looks exactly this, like his head is exactly the same. He has like a bandana, but then his like lower body is like this deformed, like muscular version of himself.
It's really unappealing.
It's really bad.
Even for Adam Lyon, it's somehow more unappealing.
Yeah, and
he's just like a middle school kid, and he's got this like horrible muscly form, and
he looks like Vegeta from Dragon Ball. He's like really small and really stocky.
He's like, it's like Gohan, or like just child from Dragon Ball who has way too many muscles.
And he envisions himself saving Carrie from a barrage of bullets, and then he's fading out of his fantasy as he's like leaning in to give a kiss, and oh boy, Jake is sitting right next to him, and he's giving him a look like, "Hey, snap out of it."
Listen, I like you, man, but I ain't gay.
Yeah.
It's basically what Jake says.
He literally said, "Hey, I like you and all, but not in that way."
He does it in like a funny voice. It's funny.
That whole little bit made us all giggle.
Even though it's
it's just denying the inevitable, Jake. It's okay. But Jake's like, "Oh, I understand. Your mind was in the other place, in another place. Whatever. That happens to me all the time. Anyway, see you tonight." And Adam, not really paying attention and still kind of daydreaming, is like, sure. And what a scary thing to be told by Jake Spider Monkey.
See you tonight.
What survival horror game scenario are we getting ourselves into here?
I'm imagining Jake Spider Monkey following me home at night on a very dark road. I got my backpack, and it's around 6, 7 o'clock. Got home really late because I went to the arcade, because that's what kids do.
Right, you're a kid in this scenario.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm a kid. And I don't know, I guess I could be in college.
Okay, get on with it.
Jake Spider Monkey in college.
We can talk about our college AU later.
But anyway, Jake Spider Monkey, not to my knowledge, is right behind me. He's a dark figure. It's kind of like Slender Man, He's I feel his presence, It's like creepypasta, dude.
Yeah, I'm aware of the concept.
Well, that's it.
Uh, well, I'm glad we went into that little diversion, just with a hint of what's to come. But anyway, we pop back to Adam's house on at night. He brushes back his hair with his toothbrush, and I'm still disgusted by this.
He's been doing that. Didn't he do that earlier in the episode too?
No, he does that later in the episode.
He does it several times in the episode, and it is disgusting.
So he's just like, oh man, I'm gonna hang out with Carrie tomorrow morning, and he's got these dreamy eyes, and that song that plays whenever like Carrie appears and he's like in love. I don't think we talked about it, but it's like Carrie's theme.
Carrie's
just like-
theme. That's...
Carrie's theme.
It's like. "Da-da-da-da-da."
It's a very like it's a song full of little mouth noises.
It's kind of creepy, honestly, but Adam hears his door, a knock on his door. He goes into it to open it, still in his dreamlike state. And who else would show up there but Jake, Slips, and Windsor, all with suitcases and baggage and whatnot.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're here for our sleepover.
They're ready for the night. Is this like a Friday night?
I would assume so, because I think it's a Sunday night actually, because
No, because
the next morning he's supposed
Adam
to meet up with Carrie to go.
Friday
No.
makes sense,
Yeah,
right?
Friday makes sense.
no, right. Yeah, it's a Saturday night, Sunday
No,
morning.
it's a Friday night because they were at school earlier that day, so it's a Friday night.
Not. Oh wait.
And he
yeah,
said, "See you
okay, so
tonight."
it's a
So- okay, so we got the
Okay.
day.
We know the day! The day is Friday!
Cartoon Friday. It all makes sense, Renee.
Friday nights! Friday nights! Y'all remember Friday nights? It's at the end of every much important Monkey episode that we find.
Let's not talk about that. But okay, the point is that Jake at one point was like, hey, don't you remember that one time as you were leaving, I quietly whispered as you left, hey, you want to have a slumber party?
And like, I took your silence as just like, yes,
And
I do want
so,
that.
So they invite themselves in, and it's just like Adam is like, no, I can't do this. Like, I have to meet up with Carrie really early, and Slips is like brought some snacks, and he's like unpacking them, and Adam like just like takes them from Slips's mouth and puts them back in the bag, and Slips looks so sad.
Like Jake is definitely in the wrong here because he knows better. He knows that what he's doing is just scummy. But
It's
he's
wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
But he
so
probably
bad.
told Slips and Windsor like, Adam said it was okay. Let's go over. And they were like, oh, cool, okay. And they asked their parents and everything, and they had to sign a permission slip to be able to leave the zoos after hours because they're probably like prisoners there or something. And then...
That's fucked up.
Like they had to do this like this far in advance. Like this is their only chance, or they have to go through the like due process again.
You know, that puts it all into a different perspective, this episode, huh? Like this is like Slips and Windsor's like real good night to like just have a party with their friends, like on the human side of things.
Get
And
to play
like
video
just, like,
Oh,
games.
so much fun.
eating pizza.
That's Adam Lyon's fault.
Yeah, but Jake is like, please let us stay. Like we're already here and everything. And Adam's like, okay, but I'm gonna turn in early, so like let's just keep it down and not get too crazy. And so he kind of like, I guess, falls asleep on the couch in the living room that
For
they're
whatever
that they're all in.
reason.
And
I guess his like logic here is he wants to like, be with them,
Mm-hmm.
like be
Right.
part of the hangout, not just like leave them downstairs by
Yeah, that'd
themselves.
be weird.
Where they can smash everything up.
It's weird that where's Adam's parents during this? Are they asleep already?
That's like a thing that like Adam at one point did say that his mom works a lot.
Yeah.
And his dad seems kind of like a goofball. But
He seems like a Hugh type.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
definitely Hugh Neutron. Hugh type.
But
It's a good word for it.
but they don't seem to be all there in Adam's life a lot of the time.
No, definitely not. But he's dreaming about another Carrie situation with him rescuing her in paintball, and he's rudely awoken by Jake, who's like, "We need money for the pizza guy," and Adam's like, "Oh, you guys got pizza?" And he's like, "You know what? Maybe I'll have a little. Just have a little slice. I could go for a slice."
Might as well. They made you pay for it, Adam.
And
But of course, like if Slips and Windsor are enjoying pizza, Slips is like, "Oh, come on, yeah, grab a slice." And Adam's like, "Well, all right."
Pretty good.
And he goes to grab one, and Jake just halts him, like, "Hold it! You gotta have some toppings on that there pizza." And he just shovels a bunch of bugs out of a jar onto his pizza, still wriggling.
That's such a cruel joke.
Adam's life is a cruel
He didn't
joke.
even ask if he wanted some toppings. He could have been like, "Hey, Adam, we have some toppings. Would you like some?" And holds up a jar of bugs, and then Adam would be like, "No, thank you." But he just ruined a good pizza, huh? Just for the jokes, huh, Jake? It's all fun for you, huh?
It's just kind of amazing that Jake carries around a mason jar or whatever full of like live bugs.
But Adam's like, I don't want the pizza anymore. He tries to go back, but then Jake starts like manipulating him again and like fake crying about, "Oh, it's not the same without you here. I thought you cared about your best friend." Fuck you.
How many
Jake.
times has he done this?
Every time he doesn't get
Like,
his way, he cries and like fake cries.
It's getting old, Jake. I want to see him. I want to see him grow as a character. I know it's not gonna happen. I want to see him become more mature. But it's frustrating knowing that it just won't. He's never gonna be more mature. Ugh.
We gotta keep reminding ourselves, this is a comedy cartoon show from the early 2000s with no barely any continuity and greater story arcs. So these characters will remain stagnant and insufferable, and that's how it's gonna be. So let's just have fun with it.
Right. So, Slips and Windsor join in. They're like, let's do just a few fun things. Come on, it's not gonna hurt anybody. And they decide to do some, as Windsor says, crank calls to their associates and females. He says, I think.
Yeah, he says like, "We're gonna call some femoids."
That's not what he says!
Oh God, I'm sorry.
I mean, he basically says that.
Basically.
And
Like arch rivals, female friends, and like authority figures, he says. Like, so they call Ingrid and Lupe first, and they're having their own little sleepover, which is interesting. That's fun.
yeah.
At the zoo.
Well, you know what? We don't
seems-
really get a full scene. All we see is Lupe in her like nest, and then like Ingrid's head like poking into frame. I bet Ingrid's like however you call it, enclosure is like right next to Lupe, so all she has to do is like dip her head in to like talk to her.
That's a cute idea. That's how they became friends.
Oh,
Oh, excuse me.
but like, there's a scene before the phone rings where they're just like talking about imagined like marriage names. Like Ingrid's like, what about Miss Ingrid Lion?
And Lupe says like gross or something like that. She's like ew. And then
It
says
doesn't sound that
but
good.
then she's the hypocrite says what a
No. I think she meant that as a joke, where she says, Senora Lupe, Spider Monkey. And they both have a laugh
they
about
both go
that because they know fully well neither of them would ever want any of that baggage.
That's God, he would
God,
be the
what-
worst like
what-
partner ever. He'd be so like manipulative and terrible.
But this scene is interesting because, not to give too much away about the next the season finale, but I've been looking at this the season we've been watching closely, seeing like when does it come in where Ingrid expresses interest in Adam Lyon, because that definitely is a thing that plays into like later seasons, especially in the next episode. But
yeah,
it literally just starts here with that line. That's the line that starts that like chain of events, or like that idea that Ingrid's interested in Adam.
I was honestly surprised that it took this long for that like little joke or little like character moment to form. Like I'm surprised it took until this episode, because I remember it being like a lot more prevalent. But that might just be because like maybe it becomes more prevalent in the later seasons or whatever. But
We'll have to see. It's something we're gonna have to look forward to next episode.
yeah,
But they get crank called, and it's Adam on the phone, and he's trying to do a very terrible Principal Pixie Frog impression. And he's saying, "Oh, school's canceled tomorrow, and you can't come because it's canceled and stuff."
Adam Lyon, you fucking idiot. Ingrid said, or rather,
I was
Lupe
gonna say
says, "You think that you got us? You absolute idiot! That is not Principal Pixie Frog. Try again. That was awful."
Come back when you got some games, son. Not exactly what she just roasts him over the phone, and like the other guys are hearing this, and they just wide-eyed, and Lupe just hangs up on him, and they're just like left like awkward there.
it's
Like,
really so they kind of
"Don't worry, Adam."
they just look so like, well, that sucked. And Adam decides now it's a good time to try and head back to sleep. And the rest are like, oh, we're a little sleepy too. And Windsor starts smashing potted plants on the ground, so that's cool.
It's what gorillas do. It's what gorillas do.
I'm a gorilla, and I need this to sleep. Otherwise, I get all antsy and roam around and get all pent up. So you have to let me do this. It's part of my way. And if you don't let me smash pots on the ground, I will literally never forgive you, Adam Lyon. I will report you to the school principal for not housing me.
My needs are your needs, Adam Lyon. This home is our home. Open up to us.
Adam goes back to sleep. He goes back to his dream again. The continuation of the dream, which, like, lucky for him, like, it's hard for me to like continue on with a dream's narrative.
Yeah, I have no idea what kind of magical astral projecting dream ability he has, but he imagines that Carrie's lifting him up after being shot, and then he like looks behind him and it's actually like a scary werewolf, and he jolts awake, and then the boys are watching a scary movie. The werewolf.
And what's the difference between a wolfman and a werewolf? This is the question that they ask, and I think we should
we discuss
try and think about it ourselves. Yeah, why not?
Well, I believe while they're both lycanthropic in nature, it all boils down to the nature of their transformations.
Well, yes. Windsor did say that.
But what's
I
the
thought you were gonna
difference
retort back.
between a werewolf and a wolf man?
The wolf man is a big hairy man.
You know what I would say? This conversation
Hmm?
is really like humanizing for these characters because it's a stupid like kind of conversation you have with your friends at like 3 in the morning about something completely nonsensical and dumb. And I also just like the subtle details. Like as they're having this discussion, Slips is like shaking because he's scared of the movie. So that's a little nice character fact. Is Slips can't handle scary movie. And Adam is annoyed, but he kind of just tries to ignore it by pushing the pillow closer around his head. Uh, Time goes by and they're doing a dance party. Adam's still annoyed, can't sleep.
Their dance party is so funny. We see like
Sli-
Windsor is just wilding out. Slips is like doing some geometric shapes.
yeah, Slips is dancing real good. I love the way they made Slips dance in this.
He looks like that one part in fuck, this is gonna take a lot to explain, never mind. You know that part in SpongeBob where Squidward's doing like the talent show and then he like starts going like the hardcore like music starts playing and he starts that part. It
Yeah.
looks like that.
It really does. I knew it was familiar.
And time goes by again and they're playing a video game and they're having a hard time with it and Adam's like, oh, you guys, I know how to do it, let me show you, you just do this, this, and this, and then he starts getting into it and like
It's like Jake gets annoyed that like he's like showing them up in the game. It's like, oh hey, shouldn't you be asleep now? Thanks, we got it. He's like, no, I'm wide awake now.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way that I'm gonna like quit now. This is like I'm in it.
yeah, time goes by again. They blindfold Windsor. Real real bird box challenge, you know what I'm saying?
Is this how we have to remain relevant? We gotta refer to like these like.
Even by the time I'm like saying this is like a 4-week-old meme or whatever. It's not even relevant anymore.
It's never been relevant to me. What the hell are you talking about?
Don't worry about it. It's a dumb like Netflix show like challenge.
Don't forget
thing
to
or whatever.
pay the Netflix guys your money and watch Bird Box.
Bandersnatch.
And they hold up stuff to Windsor and have him smell it, and he's like, "Oh, it's this is a lily or something," and they're like, "You did it!"
Like a tiger.
And they blindfold Adam, and
Of course,
What
you know what's happening. You know what has to happen. You know, but
yeah,
It's-
yeah, Jake's butt up to his nose, and Adam's like, "What does he say?" Like
like
Roses?
posy.
roses.
No, I think he says posy.
And
Posies?
it's like,
No, he says rose.
and he's like, "Oh no, what's his butt?" How funny. Time goes by, it Slips his turn to do a great call, and he calls Butch.
You mean bull?
He calls Butch Hartman on the phone.
I forgot his name. He looks like a Butch. He could be Butch.
God.
He could be
He
Butch.
could be a Butch.
I mean, that is a big bully name.
Yeah. And again, and he tries to do the same bit that Adam was doing about how school was canceled.
But nah,
Right?
he at first tries to like do like a classic one like but he mixes the jokes up. He's like, is your Prince Albert running? Is your do you got a refrigerator in a can? And he looks so nervous. I feel so bad for him. And he tries to save face by like going, this is Principal Pixie Frog, school's canceled. Or wait, no, I think he says like this is Adam Lyon, school's canceled.
Yeah, and Bull is like immediately doesn't fall for it. And he's like, "Oh, you're dead. Dead, Slips. I'm gonna get you." And, oh, Slips.
He just it's like, God, I guess that's the end of
Yeah, I guess
Slips.
Slips is dead. And
I just love that Bull immediately, like, after, like, listening to this whole, like, just very poor trick on Slips's part, he just goes, "You're dead, Slips!"
and
Very
the
funny.
time goes
But then
by again.
we look back at Adam, and he's starting to get the tired eyes. He's like, I'm having the most fun I've ever had.
And they're doing each other's nails, and then Jake gets turned at Crank Colin, and he does a perfect Principal Pixie Frog voice, and he says, school's canceled for a whole week, and then it pans out, and who's on the phone?
It's Principal Pixie Frog. He's on the phone, and he's like, "Oh wow, cool, school's canceled. Thanks, me."
Yeah.
Well, that was nice of me to cancel school for a week.
I could use a vacation.
And it's like, that's how you do it. And Adam looks disgusting and looks. I feel like that should be my catchphrase. Is just Adam looks disgusting, because he does.
So you see, in this scene, Adam looks very bad.
The sleep deprivation is getting to him, and like we all know that feeling, right? When we're just like getting up from, like, we're with the boys on Discord, or just having a fun time, but you get up a bit too late, and then you look like you just fucking did a line or something. You just look absolutely fucked up, and you just start muttering. You're just like, Zabazoola.
Jake,
I've definitely been there.
Jake brings over a pillow and like lays him down. Like, it's time for me. He tapes his eyes closed. It's actually really funny. He's like,
he looks so creepy, and
he looks like he's like laying him to like be buried because he's dead. He just like tapes his eyes closed, closes his mouth.
He's just preparing the body.
Yeah, and Adam falls asleep, and he wakes up in a panic because he didn't set an alarm or anything. Because
I don't know why. Does he? I mean,
Well,
he had an alarm upstairs. He should have just slept in his bed.
he should have, but like, he was so sleep deprived. He was just put to rest on his couch.
to rest.
Put the rest.
And he.
But like, he's waked up by the door knocking, and he panics. He rushes up, gets ready, goes to the bathroom. He combs his hair again with his toothbrush.
Adam just doesn't have hygiene down quite yet. Perhaps it's because he's at an animal school and he's lost touch with that part of himself.
He doesn't have his parents there to tell him, no, Adam, you don't brush your hair with a toothbrush. No, shoving your butt in people's faces is not proper etiquette.
And, he opens the door and it's Jake in full paintball gear, and he's like, "Oh, Carrie came by, but you were so, like, knocked out that I just took your place." And Adam, like, tears at his hair, and he starts, like, screaming, like, "I missed my date!" And Jake starts just kind of, like, casually talking about it, and it's just infuriating.
Like, rubbing it in.
Yeah,
he's like, man, she, like, held my hand, like 10 times during that, or something.
Hearing this reminds me of the episode where Adam and Jake, at the end of it, were, like, trying to find Carrie, like, a seat for Jungle Guy. Yeah. And Adam was like, at first, I'm here, let me show you your seat. And Jake gets, like, jealous, like, competitive.
Yeah, I think this is, like, Jake doesn't want Adam to become close to Carrie because it takes away the, like, power he has as his only friend. So, like,
God,
so he
purposely
got Adam really tired. And
I just thought it was because they wanted to, like, just be like, listen, Jake isn't gay. See, look, he likes girls.
No, I think it's I think it's not that. I think it's that he just, wants to be Carrie's friend so that Carrie is not Adam's friend.
Like,
Wow.
purposefully, like, trying to split up Adam and Carrie, crushing his chances of ever being with her, so that Jake is his only friend, his only, like, mainstay friend, and he has to rely on him, removing his only human connection so that they can be inseparable.
God.
God.
It's so
What a
sinister.
monster.
And
He
he
really
planned
is
this
the
whole thing
devil,
from the
isn't he?
start. It was all planned. The sleepover, everything. Everything he does. He's
Probably
a manipulative little bastard. And, he can't get away with it for too long. He gives a bad name to the animals in the animal school because there's this constant struggle in this show between the needs of the animal students, their culture, and the culture shock that Adam's in, his needs as a human being, as just like a regular living being. And it's these like cultures are at odds all the time, and it's
yeah.
only exacerbated by Jake pulling the strings in the background, doing everything he can to make Adam suffer so that he's only closer to him. This is my gym partner's a monkey. And we thank you for watching with us.
I would like to talk about the
Wow.
about the end of the episode now.
All right, yeah.
Do you feel better?
Yeah.
Okay.
He
Just making sure.
Jake gives him like a souvenir that's like a sleep mask, and Adam closes the door on him. And then we get a kind of just final gag here where it's Principal Pixie Frog on vacay, and he gets a call from Miss Warhog, and she's like, "Where the fuck are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm on school's canceled." And she's like, "Where did you hear that?" And he's like, "Well, from me."
Oh, I did.
Like, look up. Wait a minute.
And yeah, that's the
That's the episode. It just ends with a little joke about Principal Pixie Frog telling himself that school was canceled.
I like that joke. It's funny.
Yeah.
I do too.
Well,
I think I like most Principal Pixie Frog jokes, if I'm being honest.
I just really enjoy Principal Pixie Frog.
He's, we really slept on Principal Pixie Frog, Back in the day. Let's make this like the year.
The year of
the year of
PF.
Principal.
The year of
Year
PF.
of PF. Principal Pixie Frog.
Principal Pixie Frog just has so much going for him. Like, he's funny, he's like intelligent, he's like an adult in the show. Like, he acts
He's a
like
trans icon.
Yes.
He's a trans icon.
God.
And like really big inspiration for me.
Doesn't want to get sued.
Doesn't want to get
Relatable.
sued.
Am I right?
He's fiscally responsible.
Maybe he's the dream guy all of us have been looking for.
Maybe we all need a Principal Pixie Frog in our life, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, great episodes. Well, the first one sucked, but the second one I really enjoyed. Let's read.
The first one was draining. Second one,
Gaining.
nice little gaining. I feel like I gained something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's read some comments because we have a few here. I'd really love to read.
Okay, Burgundy is a lesbian said, I've been on the edge of my seat waiting for you to come to an edible conclusion of Jake Spider Monkey is a trans girl for so long. Related, but I think I can Jake Spider Monkey now. I thank you.
Well, after the rant that I just went on here, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for making fun of Jake Spider Monkey.
Yeah, you're not manipulative.
I'm sure you are like a very good person and are not manipulative, and I wish you the best with your new kin. Thanks, Burgundy is a lesbian.
Thank you, thank you.
You know, you can reclaim all of the things that they deliver us in the show through Jake Spider Monkey's mouth. He can be new, or rather, she can be new.
Oh, well, that's nice. Well, I'd like to read the
Aw.
next one. We actually had a lot of comments on the last video, so sorry if we don't get to everyone. Okay, I want to read this one. It says, by Apprentice Joe King. Confident ditzy woman solidarity, huh? Could you all choose my gym partner's a monkeykins? Could you do that? Could I put you under duress to do that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I am so ready for this. I've been waiting for this question since we started this podcast because I've been so prepared. You all know who it is, who's coming.
Yeah, why don't you?
Here,
Why don't you tell me? Why don't you tell us?
yeah. Go ahead. Give us you. Give us who you are.
My gym partner's a monkeykin is Miss Chameleon for number 1.
Number 1.
Number 1, Miss Chameleonkin.
Well, you just
Well,
took the best
so what are
character,
yours?
so what are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
Excuse
what
me,
crumbs have you left for
You know what?
us?
Actually, I know who I want to be. I'm kinning Miss Gill. Sorry, it's happening.
You took the other best character.
Really? I thought you'd go for Miss Bear.
No, I mean we don't know much about her yet. If we get to know much more about her, then maybe. But Coach Gill, she's a character. I love her. So that's me.
Ah.
What crumbs are left for you,
Yeah,
Gert?
Gert, what crumbs
What
are left for
crumbs are
you?
left for me? What do I have to settle for? Ah, dang it. Help
Listen.
me out here. What are some characters from my gym partner's a monkey that aren't the main cast? Because I don't want to go for a main cast character. I
What
don't
about
feel myself
Miss
in any-
Warthog?
Miss Warhog's cool.
Miss Warthog's cool, I guess.
Don't
You know.
just
Uh, well, sorry. It's just we haven't really gotten a lot of her
We've gotten
yet.
a decent amount though. She's
I don't know. I think the Animus special really let her shine there. And
I guess-
actually can I change mine? I want to be Dickie, Sugar Jumper. That's me.
Dickie
Dickie
Sugar
Sugar
Jumper.
Jump.
Just
Hello, how's your
kidding.
trousers?
I don't
Yeah,
want to be
that's a good
British.
You know what? I've come to my decision.
Okay.
one. Mhm.
I think I'm Ken for Nurse Gazelle.
Oh, there we go. That's a good character.
You know, yeah.
Great. We
round
did
of
it. We
applause
did it,
for that,
everybody.
Ken.
So Coach
Thank you.
Gill, Miss Chameleon, and Nurse Gazelle all run a podcast. That's all you need to know about that. Gert, why don't you? Actually, no, sorry. Renee, why don't you read the next one?
All right. From Life Master, who I really appreciate.
Life Master. So I just want everybody who's listening to listen up because they're the Life Master and their
They
opinion.
know what they're talking about.
Yeah. So
They write, "You guys are awesome. You deserve more subscribers."
Thank you.
And to that I say,
thank you.
thank you, Life Master.
We do deserve more subscribers. Thank you, Life.
We do, of course, because like the Life Master said it. Like I was having doubts myself about like, are we doing the right thing with this podcast? Are we deserving of more viewers or rather more listeners to join us for this woeful task? And I say yeah, hell yeah, because Life Master here said
Yeah, tell your friends. What you should do is you should put this podcast on at a party and then like feel really awkward when you laugh and none of your friends laugh at the jokes. And it's perfect way to introduce us.
I think it'll be really good. It'll be really fun. And your friends will have a good time and they'll thank you for recommending this podcast and then won't listen to it.
Exactly. What is it? Paige Vermilia? Vermilia.
Yeah.
I don't recall the portable portion of the episode at all. For whatever reason, I thought the batshit was more of a central focus of the episode. Given Jake's ass inflation, maybe it was better that I forgot that.
Yeah, I think that's a commonality with all of us because we all know this as the asbestos episode. We like a lot of people didn't even regard it as the Bat Guano episode.
It's very strange that, like, not only is it not really that focused around bat guano, I mean, Jake's condition is, sure, but, but it doesn't quite feel, it doesn't really,
Centralized.
yeah, it's not that centralized. The biggest thing is, most of the episode is the portable thing.
It's odd, but like I guess technically you can't really make an episode about an asbestos infestation like in the school about the asbestos. Like you,
Okay.
of course,
Okay.
everyone would have to get out, go to a portable or something, but maybe a bit lingered on the asbestos. I don't know. We came here for the asbestos, man. That's what I signed on for.
That's the whole reason I did this podcast.
Man, I want some asbestos.
Hey, Gert, will you read the last one?
Yeah, of course. So let's see here. Is it the one right under the one we just read?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So Pantera CP said,
No.
Paintra CP. There is it better.
Yeah.
I found the infamous asbestos episode interesting because everyone, I mean everyone, can recall that famous popcorn gag. But as for the majority of the episodes, it was something completely unrelated that I had zero memory of. Why was it even guano? Did they want an asbestos episode, but thought that wasn't animally enough?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I share that sentiment as well. And honestly, I'm of the belief that all right, stick with me here.
Oh, great.
So there was two universes, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's call them Universe A and Universe 2. Now, Universe 2 is the universe we're in now, but we used to be in Universe A, where the episode Bat Guano in 60 seconds was asbestos in 60 seconds, and it was more about the asbestos and the interior of the school being covered in it. But since we shifted into this alternate universe, it's been more about the portable than anything. And, honestly, I'm hoping to petition NASA to rework the Large Hadron Collider so that we can get back to Universe A and watch the episode as it was intended to be
Good theory.
in the right universe.
Good theory.
The episode where Jake gets poisoned by asbestos and all of his symptoms are real and he dies.
And that's the last episode of the series. It just ends there.
You're right. Now interesting that we read that comment by Painter CP. Because this is our good friend Seep, and they will be joining us next week for the season finale. That's right, we have a guest.
And already the season finale. Wow, what a treat.
Yeah, so
What a
Oh,
journey
man.
we've been on
the
together.
season finale is called Carry to Dance. So, ooh, what's this gonna be
It's
about?
a
Ooh.
prom episode, so there's gonna be for sure a lot of laughs, a lot of poignant moments, a lot of reflective moments about our time in prom in high school and how it sucked. And it's gonna be a great
Oh, I have
time, and I'm glad to share it with our friend Seep, who's gonna be a special guest star in the next episode of My Gym Partners, a podcast. I can't wait.
Me
I actually have a
either.
very-
Sounds like it's gonna be
I have
fun.
a very sad prom story to tell. I cannot wait to tell it. It's gonna be great.
Oh, me too.
I
Oh,
have no prom story.
Oh, that's right. You didn't go to prom. That's right.
yeah, like a smart person.
Too much. You know, I often think sometimes like, prom, dang, I didn't experience that, but like, really, what was there for me at it, right?
I mean, there was the experience of having a bad prom, which is a fun experience to talk about.
That's
Which
true.
we will.
We will.
On the
Next
next
episode.
episode.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm Gert.
I'm Lucy.
I'm Renee, and I hope you learn Paintress CP by the next episode, Gert.
Yeah, learn
Let's
their
close
name.
it out.
Listen, Paintra. I said it.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
All
Bye.
right.
Good night,
Bye,
everybody. Bye.
Bye.
It's
All right. From Life Master, who I really appreciate.
Life Master. So I just want everybody who's listening to listen up because they're the Life Master and their
They
opinion.
know what they're talking about.
Yeah. So
They write, "You guys are awesome. You deserve more subscribers."
Thank you.
And to that I say,
thank you.
thank you, Life Master.
We do deserve more subscribers. Thank you, Life
We
Master.
do, of course, because like the Life Master said it. Like I was having doubts myself about like, are we doing the right thing with this podcast? Are we deserving of more viewers or rather more listeners to join us for this woeful task? And I say yeah, hell yeah, because Life Master here said
Yeah, tell your friends. What you should do is you should put this podcast on at a party and then like feel really awkward when you laugh and none of your friends laugh at the jokes. And it's perfect way to introduce us.
I think it'll be really good. It'll be really fun. And your friends will have a good time and they'll thank you for recommending this podcast and then won't listen to it.
Exactly. What is it? Page Vermilia? Vermilia.
Yeah.
I don't recall the portable portion of the episode at all. For whatever reason, I thought the batshit was more of a central focus of the episode. Given Jake's ass inflation, maybe it was better that I forgot that.
Yeah, I think that's a commonality with all of us because we all know this as the asbestos episode. We like a lot of people didn't even regard it as the Bat Guano episode.
It's very strange that like not only is it not really that focused around bat guano, I mean Jake's condition is sure, but but it doesn't quite feel, it doesn't really it's not that centralized. The biggest thing is most of the episode is the portable thing.
It's odd, but like I guess technically you can't really make an episode about an asbestos infestation like in the school about the asbestos. Of course everyone would have to get out, go to a portable or something, but maybe a bit lingered on the asbestos. I don't know, we came here for the asbestos, man. That's what I signed on for.
That's the whole reason I did this podcast.
Man, I want some asbestos.
Hey, Gert, will you read the last one?
Yeah, of course. So, let's see here. Is it the one right under the one we just read?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright. So, Pantera CP said...
No.
Paintra CP. There is better.
Yeah.
I found the infamous asbestos episode interesting because everyone, I mean everyone, can recall that famous popcorn gag. But as for the majority of the episodes, it was something completely unrelated that I had zero memory of. Why was it even guano? Did they want an asbestos episode, but thought that wasn't animally enough?
Yeah, I share that sentiment as well. And honestly, I'm of the belief that All right, stick with me here.
Oh, great.
So there was two universes, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's call them Universe A and Universe 2. Now, Universe 2 is the universe we're in now, but we used to be in Universe A, where the episode Bat Guano in 60 Seconds was Asbestos in 60 Seconds, and it was more about the asbestos and the interior of the school being covered in it. But since we shifted into this alternate universe, it's been more about the portable than anything. And, honestly, I'm hoping to petition NASA to rework the Large Hadron Collider so that we can get back to Universe A and watch the episode as it was intended to be
Good theory.
in the right universe.
Good theory.
The episode where Jake gets poisoned by asbestos and all of his symptoms are real and he dies.
And that's the last episode of the series. It just ends
You know
there.
what, you're right. Now interesting that we read that comment by Painter CP. Because this is our good friend Seep, and they will be joining us next week for the season finale. That's right, we have a guest.
And already the season finale. Wow, what a treat.
Yeah, so
What a
Oh,
journey
man.
we've been on
the
together.
season finale is called Carry to Dance. So, ooh, what's this gonna be
It's
about?
it's a
Ooh.
prom episode, so there's gonna be for sure a lot of laughs, a lot of poignant moments, a lot of reflective moments about our time in prom in high school and how it sucked. And it's gonna be a great
Oh, I
time, and I'm glad to share it with our friend Seep, who's gonna be a special guest star in the next episode of My Gym Partners a Podcast. I can't wait.
Me
I actually have a
either.
very-
Sounds like it's gonna be
I have
fun.
a very sad prom story to tell. I cannot wait to tell it. It's gonna be great.
Oh, me too.
I
Oh,
have no prom story.
Oh, that's right. You didn't go to prom. That's right.
yeah, like a smart person.
Too much. You know, I often think sometimes like, prom, dang, I didn't experience that, but like, really, what was there for me at it, right?
I mean, there was the experience of having a bad prom, which is a fun experience to talk about.
That's
Which we
true.
will.
We will.
on the
Next episode. Thank you for joining us.
I'm Gert.
I'm Lucy.
I'm Renee, and I hope you learn Paintress CP by the next episode, Gert.
Yeah, learn
Let's
their
close
name.
it out.
Listen, Paintra. I said it.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
All
Bye.
right.
Good night, everybody. Bye.